Hi, greetings. Hello, Johan's here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tuesday. It must be co-pilot day. I need Deborah. Where's Deborah? Deborah, are you here? I was just wondering when the first show was. I don't remember. It seems like it was May. Hello, Paul. Hello, Johan. Greetings. I assume you can hear me, right? There really ought to be one of those meters that goes on and shows you what's going on. We all need Deborah. That's fun, isn't it? And I forgot to do something. I'm just now seeing it. And maybe you don't see it. Maybe it works perfectly fine on your end. But on my Mac, I have some kind of a weird thing going on where, and thank you, Keith, we and Johan, there's some kind of a stutter that happens in my video. I don't know if you saw it just then as I was waving. It's not doing it now, of course. There it was. Anyway, I found out how to fix it, but I don't know. It means opening up the guest user on my Mac, and for some reason that fixes it. And I don't know why, and I forgot to do that. I restarted a few minutes ago. Steve says, wicked haircut. Thanks, Steve. I have a pair of scissors right here in my office, and I keep clipping my own hair. I think you're toying with me. Steve's here. Howdy, Steve, from Springtime by the Bay. Johan says, where's your UpViral shirt? Actually, I don't have my UpViral shirt. Come to think of it. They don't pay me more to wear the shirt. I need to have more. That's what I need. I need to have one for every day. Francesco, hi, how you doing? Thank you for popping in. Steve, you are so funny. Today's the review show day. Woohoo! I love reviews. Do you guys see that stutter when it happens? That's what I want to know. Margus is here. Welcome, Margus. Keith says, I have some clippers from Walmart for $10. Yeah, I know. But you can't really tell that I've been doing that myself, can you? It looks great. Just say it. It works great. Steve says no stutter. Well, good. I'll just ignore it then. Oystein. So what's going to happen here is you're going to hear an apology from me. Because, and I haven't even bothered to check yet. Somebody messaged me through Tobin, and I think it's Oystein. Am I saying that right? Oystein. Steen. Sorry, you're welcome to be here. Thank you for popping in. And I know you did submit a question today, so I think you're the same guy, and I've been ignoring you. And I confess right off the bat, I apologize. It's my fault. So anyway, I'll dive into your question. And today's review day, though. Good morning. Jeff says, I see it a little, but it could be a signal issue. No stutter. Keith says, hair looks great. I appreciate you, Keith. Ring the bell for the hair comment. Yay! Richard, good to see you too. Thank you. So I've got 2 campaigns that were submitted to review today. I've got a 3rd campaign that a friend of mine has created, and I'm going to give him a little brief review, even though he doesn't know I'm going to do it. He's actually invited me onto his live channel sometime in the next week or 2. But his campaign is live. Johan says, I'm working on a new campaign in Dutch. Will you be able to review it? Absolutely. Google Translate is good enough. So I just use Google Translate. That's all. I'm not here to wordsmith every word in your campaign. And graciously, I give you a little bit extra leeway if you are from a non-US, non-English speaking native tongue. it's not important to have every word correct, right? It's more important about what the message is. It's more important about what your graphics are. It's more important if you're succinct and clear with your message. Where campaigns fail is two places. Number one, people don't understand the offer. And number two, it's the wrong offer for the wrong audience. Okay? I mean, there's a lot of other factors involved, of course. I was recently talking to a group of people, and they asked me, the typical thing. Mitch, I've heard that contests suck, that leads from contests never buy anything. And I said, absolutely not true. Absolutely not true. If that were true, contests would not be a thing on the internet. Giveaways would not be a thing on the internet. And I'm going to go back and tell you that the word contest is used overseas, used in non-American countries. Overseas, everybody's overseas, right? Contest in the United States, by legal definition, means something that is judged, like a photography contest or the cutest baby contest or a bikini contest. Those are judged things. But in Europe and most of the rest of the world, a contest is a giveaway or a sweepstakes where one or more prizes are given to a few number of winners, usually selected either by most points or by random draw. And we're going to talk about most points when we get to campaign number 3 today. So let me first get to, and as you guys know, I get distracted easily. I am also, shouldn't confess this, but my birthday present to myself arrives today via FedEx. And so if there's a knock on the door and I run out, you know what's going on. I don't think I have to sign for it, so I shouldn't have to leave. But, I'm just pretty excited. Let me know if I just disappear. I'm not going to just disappear. I do have the window open so that I can hear if there's a truck coming. I am looking forward to this present to myself. What is it? Richard says. Well, many of you have seen me wearing these headphones, and I typically usually do. These are Bose. I've had these probably now for 7, 8, 9 years. I have never ever looked up the day that I purchased these, but they have a cord, and the cord drives me crazy. But the noise canceling is what I really like about those Bose. Anyway, I ended up buying the new AirPods Pro Max from Apple. So they're the big over-the-ear headphones, and they're blue to match my glasses and my shirt. I hadn't thought about that. I got my blue shirt on for my blue headphones day. So that's what I'm bought for myself. I decided to reward myself for a job well done over the last umpteen years. I don't usually buy stuff for myself. I'm a father. I got 2 kids in college. Tend to spend things on, those kind of things. And so I just decided to pat myself on the back. Things are going well for me. I'm proud of what's going on. So thank you. I have awarded that to myself. My birthday is not till next month. You can't schedule things very well with Apple. They were 3 weeks out from when I ordered and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so that's my present to myself. Richard says, you deserve it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Keith says what Richard said. Much appreciated. If you guys want to contribute, just, send me cash. Send me cash. I'll set up a Venmo or a GoFundMe to buy future presents for myself. Okay, so let me first address Oystein's question. the question is, I'd like to run an UpViral campaign for my, oopsie, sorry, a pop-up just popped up. I'd like to run an UpViral campaign for my boat charter company in, now see, I should have looked this up before I said it. Is it Ibiza? Spain. In Spain. The price would be a free charter, the prize would be a free charter day with our Princess 40, which is a boat, I'm assuming, at a value of around $2,000. I'm considering partnering with another company that rents villas and possibly one or two concierge companies. What's your general advice, and what would we need to follow up in a way of landing pages, etc.? Great question. The short answer is absolutely. Thank you, Keith. Keith says it's pronounced Ibiza. I appreciate that. Much appreciated. I never would have said that right because there's a Z in it. Or a Z if you're from New Zealand or Australia, right? Anyway, a contest is a great thing to do in just about any environment. The key thing in your situation is that it's very obvious what the prize is. We're going to talk a little bit about that during the review section of these campaigns. That's how the English pronounce it. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but the key is, one of the keys is if it's simple to understand. Now, I think that that's a great opportunity because people will understand when you show a picture of a boat and you say, well, we're going to give you a full day out on the water, and we're potentially going to give you like a hotel room or a villa. Do I have to say villa? No, that's Mexican. I don't know. Pancho Villa. Anyway, we never mind. Especially when you can create a package. Like if you're creating a package where you're going to say, well, you're going to get 1 or 2 or 3 nights in an accommodation, a couple of meals for 2, and a day on the boat. That's a great prize. People will sign up for that. Now, the key to that question, however, is that we need to potentially be careful about the offer itself. And some of you have seen the Safari giveaway that I did for a client, and you'll see it again coming up, by the way. We did a campaign for a Safari that was a $12,000 package, and we had a lot of people sign up for it. But in terms of the question of was it successful, well, the company that hired me didn't have such great success in getting people to show up. In terms of, I shouldn't say show up, but in order to buy, right? What you're looking for potentially for, if your prizes, if you're charging $2,000 for a day boat rental, then that's kind of an upper end thing, right? I think you mentioned that to me when I saw your comment on LinkedIn and then promptly ignored you. Sorry. Then the issue is kind of who's going to sign up. If it's a high-end offer, that doesn't necessarily mean the people that are going to sign up are going to be high-end people. Maybe somebody that is, I don't want to say poor, somebody that is middle class or lower end potentially would want to win something like that. And so the deepest question that we need to address in a campaign like that is the offer going to attract the right people for your campaign? I'm not sure it necessarily would. And that's the issue. The other part of the question could be Could we find a lower priced offer that wouldn't necessarily cost you an arm and a leg? And I know, the boat's already available. You already have it open to rent, and maybe using it for a day doesn't really cost you much. But maybe that's not the right offer, is what I'm trying to get to. And I'm not sure right off the top of my head what the right offer is. But we could talk about that. And I think that's, most people that come talk to me are people that are not in the upper end in terms of pricing for things. And therefore, it's fairly easy, if you're going to give away, I'll be generic and say, the $100 Amazon gift card, then you're going to attract a large audience. It's going to be people that could potentially afford what you're looking to offer, et cetera, et cetera. So I think maybe you get the point. Steve says a discounted day trip. And that's potentially a good offer. Kiki says, this is great. I was thinking of the same scenario for my limo company. Let me state it this way. I'm going to go back to one of my favorite slides that I put up when I'm doing a presentation, and that is that marketing is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And therefore, probably what's going to happen is we're going to test multiple things. We're not going to just run one campaign and be done. We don't just run one campaign, see if it worked or not. And if it didn't work, then we say, well, contests suck. Major companies do contests all the time, and they try it and they see what the results are, and they see if people bought, and then they try something else, another contest. They're looking for the right offer. We don't just do one time and done. The people that join me in my mastermind come to me because they want to do marketing campaigns all year round. They want to be involved constantly. They don't want to just run one campaign. It's what I actually prefer to teach people, which, doing this co-pilot show every week, when you show up, we're talking to you on a regular basis, and you're thinking about your marketing. You're not just going to run a campaign and then not think about marketing for the next 2 years, unless that campaign happens to be the most successful offer ever. Right? So what we would need to do would be to sit down and have a conversation about what the right offer is. And this is one of the key things in creating a campaign, is figuring out what the right offer is. I'll give you another example. One of my mastermind students is trying to figure out what the right offer is for his charity. He is doing some stuff to feed children in Africa. And so what we're doing is trying to figure out what the right offer is to get people here in the States who are interested in helping people in Africa to feed and clothe and provide housing for them. Okay. It's a struggle sometimes. What you first come up with, what you might think is the ultimate prize. I'll go back and tell you the story about Bradley, who's been in the UpViral group many times, and he's so busy working right now. I know he's not been in the group very much. But one of the examples that he talked about all the time was he had a client that was in the survival niche. And he said it was okay, I tell you the story. In the survival niche, the people that are afraid the earth is going to end. And so the first couple of things they tried were like camping stoves, camping chairs, that kind of stuff. put together packages, all that other stuff. And what they eventually found by doing multiple campaigns was that a $97 halogen flashlight was the thing that attracted the right people to their list. The point of that story is that you may think that you have the perfect offer, and then by trial and error, by testing multiple things, you figure out what the right offer really is that attracts the right people. So Oystein just asked, does it not work for the high end? That's a very good question. I don't have a whole lot of examples at my fingertips to say that it works. I'll have to think about that. That's a very good question. I think it's potentially more of a struggle. Struggle's not necessarily the right word either. More of an opportunity to find people that will refer others. And I'm thinking much like, so there's typically we talk about business to consumer. Business to consumer is typically a very easy thing, right? Because typically there's a product that you're putting in front of them that says, hey, win this new car, win a bicycle, win a flower, whatever. And that's a great point, Johan. Let me get to that in a second. Business to business is a harder thing to offer, right? Typically, business to business would be something that, like training or coaching, or, training can be business to consumer, but, some kind of an offer. Like, I've had people come to me and say, well, I want to be able to find more job prospects and I want to run a contest. That's also a little bit more consumerism, but I think you get the idea that there are some segments that are just really difficult to go after because you're not dangling this ethical bribe or this product in front of somebody that they can easily recognize. And so what you end up doing is asking more for the referral, which you can incentivize and use UpViral for to get people to refer others, as opposed to running just a contest. Right? There's more ways of using UpViral than just the big contest. We can use it as a referral campaign. And this monitor is driving me crazy because the connection's loose and I just haven't tightened it up. It keeps dropping out on me. So there are definitely ways to make that happen. Whether or not a pure contest is the right way to get people into your business, if you're talking about a high-end product. And then Johan says, could the bunkie be called high-end? Now, for those of you who don't know, there's a very well-loved campaign that is called the bunkie. It's a $9,000 cabin that you put on your property. And David has been on the show once, a couple of months ago, I think it was January. And it's a $9,000 product on average, right? It is more expensive. Is it high end? I don't know that I would consider it high end just because of the value. All right. So, and again, we're not talking about classes of people. Maybe we're talking about monetary, right? But there are people that have more money, more expendable income. And the people that potentially are buying the bunkie may not be those high-end people. What they do is they do have property somewhere, and they do want to have a place to go vacation. So they're not the people with no money, but they could be a good chunk of middle class if you want to start slapping some labels on it. And then there are the people that are just, they have a lot of money and they want to do things that are considered luxury items, right? And I think Osteen's really looking for people that have expendable money, and therefore, high-end wise, so Johanna, I'm not sure I consider the bunkie a high-end. It is maybe upper middle class, if you want to use that label. David says, great question, as I want to do the same in support of Operation Underground Railroad in the USA, and I'm based in South Africa. See, now I've spent almost 30 minutes talking about this one simple question, right? Simple question, without doing the review part. So let me be careful about my time, but doing something for a charity is a great thing. There's a case study in the UpViral case studies, by the way, for a book launch that had to do with, they were raising money for a charity and they launched a book. The process in that case study, in my opinion, is a little bit broken, but that's a whole other topic. The idea is to give away something that is valuable. In this case, they gave away a book for every donation to charity, right? So there are certainly ways to do that. Certainly ways to do that. So you can give away something that is in the ballpark, in the niche neighborhood, as Rachel Miller likes to say. And Johan, I'm sorry I missed your question earlier. Johan's question was, what about this offer? We are selling ink and toner cartridges. We want to run a campaign where we offer 1 year free printing. Would that work? Or what else could we offer? We're going to send it to our 35K mailing list. You guys are going to get tired of me saying this, but the answer is it depends. Could it work? Yes. Will it work? I'm not sure I could guarantee that it's going to work. 1 year of free printing may be very valuable to many of the people in your community. Obviously, if you're selling ink and toner cartridges, those things are expensive, and I mean they're not expensive, but they're expensive, right? You think about the amount of ink that's in there. Anyway, I don't want to editorialize on that. I quit doing printing. I'm not a printer guy anymore. Would it work? Here's the key. You got to test it. You got to try multiple things to see if it works. You can't just, this might sound, it might sound a little egotistical, but I don't always know the answers. It's one of the reasons why I really like working with people, and I'd be careful here. Doing what I'm doing with the mastermind is an ongoing conversation with people. Pardon me. Instead of just coming in and helping build one campaign, I'm working with them over a year, 2 year period to help them grow and test. And the more campaigns we do, the more we learn. That's the kind of thing that I still want all of you doing, not necessarily joining my mastermind. But what you need to be doing is doing regular campaigns. You know, this plaque that I have back here for 250,000 leads, that was gained over 6 years of working. Some of the campaigns only brought 200 or 300 leads. Some of them brought 50,000 leads. It's part of the process of learning and growing and understanding what works. The first campaigns I did didn't have all the bells and whistles in it. Part of the deal is you just got to get started. All right, so Osteen follows up with, the boat charter isn't really that high end. It takes up to 9 people, so it'd be €200 per person. A discount ticket is €70, and so a night easily gets 200 as well. So I get your point, though. And that's, you know, again, it's because I don't understand the offer yet. But if you started showing a party, a group of people, as opposed to potentially a couple, then maybe, you know, it fits more in. Steve says, I'm not sure I'm going to, well, I'll say it. Steve says, rich people don't need discounts or waste time on sharing deals on social media. I don't know that that's true. I don't know that that's true. Norman asks an interesting question. Have you tried press releases to promote giveaways? And if so, is it effective? I have not personally done any press releases. Take a breath, Mitch. I don't know. I have seen it done. I will say that. I have seen it done. And if you have the opportunity, if you have the opportunity, I shouldn't read comments and then I get distracted. If you have the opportunity to do a press release, the short answer, Norman, is to try it. Because what we're always looking for is traffic, right? And if you have the opportunity when you do a press release, because that's not going to be your only method of going after traffic, give them a unique link. Put a link on there that is different than every other source of traffic, and therefore you can try it, see how effective it is, and then do it again or not do it again. If you're not tracking the data, then you're not testing. Steve Miller just said, test, test, test. And if you're doing test, test, test and not looking at the data, you've heard me say this a million times before if you've been around, it doesn't do you any good if you're not looking at the data. You gotta look at the data. And if you want to know something, by the way, that's not the right place to say it. I've got a tip that I'm going to give you guys later if I can remember to do it. Steve said rich people like to stay rich and will seek cheaper prices where possible. I agree with that. I know some people that have some money and they like to look for discounts. So it's all in your mindset. I mean, the people that are the ultra rich, they don't give a flip because they could spend $3,000 a night on a hotel room and not think about it. Jeff says, people of means know the value of a good discount and work harder than most to get one. Very interesting point. Norman says, thanks, I'll give it several tries. Yay. Norman, ring the bell for Norman. Several tries are the key. I have a subscription to a press release service and can do multiple with tracking. Brilliant. Keith said, from a PR perspective, which is my background, I use Presley, which is perfect but not cheap. News media have always liked contests because it brings eyeballs to their pages. Interesting. Thank you very much, Keith. That's a very interesting question, and I'd love to pursue that. I'm going to take a screen grab because that's a very interesting conversation. And Norman, if you want to connect with me at some point to chat about that, either keep coming back or let's have a conversation, because I think that's a fascinating. I bought a lifetime deal some time ago, and I'm going to close this window because I don't know if you can hear it, but one of those stupid, and I hate them, leaf blowers is right down the street. I don't like that loud noise and the gasoline, and just get the damn broom out. Okay. So here's the deal. Norman, if you want to connect with me, you can. Messenger is probably the easiest to get me. If you, Mitch Aunger, Aunger is the last name. There's actually another young lady with that name, so don't pick her. Pick me, the guy. I have my T-shirt on that says I got 250,000 leads with UpViral in the profile picture, or you can email me at planetmitch@viraltrafficguy.com, and I can connect you with any of the stuff that I talk about. quite willing to have a conversation with you in either place. And that goes for the other guy. Where'd it go? Somebody asked, how do I get into the mastermind? Oh, that was David. So, yeah, David, just send me a message, connect with me, email, whatever it takes. I can get you involved there. All right. So now that we're almost 40 minutes in, shall we dive in? Great questions. I appreciate all the questions. Love this conversation. I learned stuff just from talking to y'all. So keep it up. Keep it up. All right. So let's dive in. I'm gonna switch over to the desktop, and I'm gonna make sure that this is out of the way. I gotta make sure you don't see any of the naughty bits, right? I'm gonna move you guys over to this screen and turn screen share on. And we're going to look at a couple of campaigns. So I'm over here in the upper corner. I want to make sure you can see me. Now, this is Steve's campaign. Steve, if you're here, we talked about this briefly the other day, I think. I don't remember where. Maybe it was in the Q&A thing. Pardon me. Giveaway for cruisers. Win $100 onboard credit for your next cruise. Good picture, maybe a little small. And I don't remember who it was that has asked the question. There is a little bit of a challenge with the new UpViral templates. I'm going to turn on my mouse halo. And I think there's a little bit of a struggle right now with the new templates in terms of image sizing and whether they show up on the smartphone correctly. So that's why it's small, Steve says. Hi, Steve. Yeah, what I have noticed, by the way, in the editor is that you're better off just leaving them full size, which tends to make them a little big. But you definitely right now, and if you haven't reported it, if this is a problem for you, please, 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 please send in a bug report to UpViral, because if they don't know enough people are having trouble with this, they're not going to fix it. It is critical to report things like this because they literally, I mean, I speak to Mark and I speak to Ben now, not Ben, God, I did it again. The new Danny, who's the product manager for UpViral, I'm sending him stuff all the time behind the scenes to try to fix some of these things. There are a few things that are a little annoying. If you guys don't report it as an issue, it's not going to get fixed because they don't know that you're having a struggle with it. Take a few minutes and report it. It's really easy to send an email to support@upviral.com and tell them what's going on. What's really best, if you can, I send them Loom videos. So I use Loom. I don't know if you know about Loom, loom.com. But I will do like a screen. I'll turn off the camera because I don't need that. And I'll just start recording. And I will say desktop 0 because I have 3 monitors. And then I do this countdown and blah, 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 blah. I talk for a second. I tell them what the problem is. And I send the video to them. When I do stop, I take this video and I send it to them. So they totally understand what the situation is. And they pat me on the back just about every time, say, thank you for that video because that helped understand the issue. If you're trying to type it in text, sometimes it can be a little difficult. So to help them out to do a better job and to make things better. Submit a bug report. Please. Even if you think somebody else has already reported it, if 20 people report the same thing, then they're much more likely to go try to fix it than if only one person sends it in. And as much as they love me, they don't always fix everything I do. Now, why is my video frozen? Are you guys still seeing me? At least on my side, it looks like the video's frozen in the upper left corner. Oh, that's because I brought up Loom, wasn't it? Loom stole the camera. Uh-oh. I wonder if I turn the camera off and turn the camera back on. Uh-oh. Oh, well. Now there's just this big blue square. I wonder, can I switch? No, I can't switch. It's always, uh-oh. I should have done that. I shouldn't have done that. Oh, well. What if I turn screen sharing off and then turn video off and then come back? Oh, sorry. We can continue. You just can't see me. Turn video off, turn audio off, turn video off. Dang it. I wasn't thinking about that being a problem. Norma says reconnect at top of page, but I'm afraid I would lose the entire thing since I'm the only person. I don't want the stream to end. And I can't change the video. Create a new room. I don't want to create a new room. But I do wonder, let's see, can I do this? Let me not do that. I'm going to do a new window. Humor me for just a second. Maybe I can come in twice. Oopsie. No, it doesn't look like it's letting me come in as a different person. But, so now this is weird. It's the wrong camera. I wasn't watching. It's the wrong freaking camera. Oh, well. It doesn't matter. Oh, it says I'm back. All right. It's the wrong camera, so I'm sorry. This is the ancient eyesight camera inside of whatever. All right, so if I do share my desktop, let's go back to that. And I'm going to get the infinite window of Kajibers, and I'm going to put that window over there. All right, so we'll just move on from here. So, Steve, thank you for your patience. I apologize for screwing that up. I love that you're explaining what the credit is. Onboard credit is a wonderful thing. It's like upgrading your cruise. Use your $100 OBC. I'm a little troubled by that acronym suddenly showing up. But I think most people figure it out. Shore excursion, blah, blah, blah. You have to be in it to win it. I love that phrase. Enter below. Yes, I want to win the $100 OBC. Haven't got a cruise hook, blah, blah, blah. Quick fire Q&A like that. So the question I have, just between you and me, Johan said, who is the target of this campaign? I think the target is anybody that wants to take a cruise. Now, if you read the details, which I did before the show started, was to, it's an account on the ship we use for additional purchases. How do I get the prize if I win? Blah, blah, blah. Does it apply to all regions? Yes, it's $100 in the currency used on the ship you sail on. So the idea, it appears to me, is that it applies to any cruise ship you want to go on, etc., which is a good thing, right? The bigger question that I have for you, Steve, is the prize value itself. And this potentially is Mitch just being stinky. But it feels to me like this is something that everybody can get. It doesn't feel special. It feels to me like what you're trying to do is to get my email address in order to just have me on your list, and potentially everybody's going to get that $100 credit, kind of like just everybody gets a discount, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't feel, and maybe I'm wrong, but I'm giving you my impression of what I feel when I see this, and other people may see it differently, but it doesn't feel special. And then there's this thing right down here that says, or one of 20 plus prizes. Now, this is dangling there, and maybe you're trying to make it be a mystery, which is okay. Mysteries are good, but it's just a tiny little thing buried here. And I only see it if I'm close to clicking this button. It's not, as far as I know, anywhere else on the page. And it's not down here with this button. And so I'm not sure why you've made that so small, because if it were me and I'm getting ready to offer 20 additional prizes, that's something that will potentially, you're missing out on people that might really want to know that there's 20 other prizes to win. Steve says, not knowing how many people will play made me keep the dollars low. Okay, I understand that completely. I'm just giving you my feedback. Maybe it would help if my feelings are shared by other people when they see it. Maybe you just simply say one person will win $100 onboard credit, or 2 people or 3 people if you want to keep it small. That way they know it's not everybody gets something just for giving up their email address. Would be a quick and dirty way to make that different. And I think you should, if there are 20 other prizes, not knowing what those are can be a bonus, but at the same time, I think they'd rather know kind of what the prizes are going to be. Could it be a stateroom? Could it be an upgrade? Could it be a free trip? Jeff says, isn't this limited to someone who bought a cruise already? Otherwise, it's useless. It is. Maybe I'm thinking about joining a cruise, and therefore it would still apply to me. Johan said, that's why I asked about the targeting. If I'm thinking about doing a cruise, and maybe the wording down here should also include how long is it valid for if I win? Oh, it says right here, will be valid. You might want to put that also down in the Q&A. Will be valid until January 2023. I think that's, there is Johan. So Steve said it's hard to read, but I covered it down below. And then Johan said down below is too late pardon me, for me to get excited. And this applies to everybody, right? Pay attention, everybody, not just Steve. If you don't get them enough information above the fold, like they used to say in the newspaper business, where this button is, many people are not going to read all this stuff down here. And like Johan just said, further down is too late for me to get excited. So we want to be succinct. We want to be clear in our messaging and give them enough information to get them excited and let them scroll if they want to. I just think maybe if you said the things I've said, it would be a little bit clearer. Secondly, there's nothing wrong with testing this. It's going to cost you $100. Oh, we don't know what the other prizes are. I don't see, there's terms and conditions. Giveaway ends on 30 June. Sponsor, no person. Winners are required to have their names, which may be abbreviated, city and country published. Winners, one. So you've got rules in here, which is good. So that's the key. People can read those rules if they want to. Steve says, can't write 10 words and cover the questions posed. Yes, I get it. I know. It's tough. It's tough. The question is, can you say enough to clearly identify what the prize is without getting too verbose and get more people to register? And this is, again, where split testing will help you out. If you have the business account in UpViral, you can do split tests. You can try it this way, you can try it the other way and see what happens. That's the joy, right? That's the result. Enter for your chance to over 20 prizes and other bonuses. I still think it would help. Steve says I do too, split testing. Good. Good for you. Ring the bell for Steve for split testing. And I know we've talked about multiple campaigns, so you're doing a good job. All right, congratulations. You are entered to win $100 and more. Confirmation on email. Check your inbox. 20 prizes are listed below. Steve said split testing being worked on, but this is live. That's fine. You're running it for 2 or 3 months. By June, you ought to be able to run several split tests. Easily increase your chances and get bonuses. Invite others. The more that join your personal links, the bigger your bonuses. You get extra points for every person that you invite. Here's your link. Here's what you can get. First prize, random draw, $100 on board credit. Good. This is all good stuff. Plot twist. All prizes are transferable. Give your win to a friend if that is your desire. First prize, 1-year captain membership of the club. Third prize, where's second prize? What happened? I'm just reading through. I like to be consistent. The cruiser with the most points gets this, so you've identified that clearly. Third prize, gets a book. Two first prizes. It doesn't say that, does it? It says first prize on points, 1-year cruiser with the most points gets this one, but it doesn't say what the second prize is, Steve, if you're saying 2 first prizes. Is it your friend wins, you win too? I'm just helping you understand that it's not clear. Fourth prize, 1 digital magazine subscription of your choice. Fifth prize for most signups. There's nothing listed here. Oh, it is. I'm sorry. My brain went to, this is 5th prize, that's 6th prize. Where's 5th prize? You might want to spell that out as SIX, 6 months. Here's the 6th prize. Scrolled past the first prize. Oh, well, okay. I'm giving you feedback that that's confusing. You can figure out if that works or not. More and more discounts on Cruise Companion Club. Discount increases. Level of points you accumulate. You've done a lot of good work here, Steve. Tips for the giveaway. Bookmark this page. Crew. We have a full ship's crew checking for entries from people that try to cheat. Love that. It's okay. Direct attempts to fraud. Without notice, prize winners be manually checked. Check your email spam filters. Each point is a chance. La la la. Watch your points increasing. Let the number of entries increase. All right. Very interesting question. Johan says, it takes too long to get to the share button. Should it be higher up on the page? Very good question. I think that's probably a yes. Because we want people to share, right? I think that's a very good, valid point. We do want them to know what these prizes are, so we're in a quandary. I would tend to think, now you have to be careful with the way things display on a smartphone. My brain just went blank. You could potentially, like right here, you could do this split that you have down here with these buttons, and you could have the prizes listed here and put these instructions below that. You've got a lot of things on this page, which is, I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just saying that it could be potentially confusing, and not everybody's going to scroll down and do these things, but you do want to make it clear as to how to share and where these buttons are. Now, Steve just says no prizes equals no interest in sharing to win. Yes, I agree. I totally agree. I'm just suggesting that potentially that's very far down on the page. Now, if you put this on a smartphone, by the way, if you look at a smartphone, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll all the way to the top. So this is what, ignore the stuff you see back here, right? I don't even know what that is. Oh, that's motion. Remember that when people see your stuff on the smartphone, this is what they see. So they are seeing those prizes. And then when we get down to here, what they see is these instructions. And then the buttons are at the very bottom of the page. And then there's the bonuses. Say, and there is no leaderboard here, by the way, for the one prize or the multiple prizes that are for the leaderboard, the person on the top. I think you ought to include the leaderboard as well. My impression would be that it, pardon me, would be potentially better to have your sharing buttons above this, right below that, such that people can see them, and then explain what the prizes are below. Steve says, I'll put the leaderboard in when there's a decent number of entries. You could do that too. So there's multiple ways to do this, and there are no right answers. So what I'm doing is I'm giving you some things to think about, and you can decide what works best for you. Potentially, this is a little bit long. I'm not going to belabor this. It's up to you, Steve, to decide what works best. And as Johan said, and as you've said, split testing. The whole point of using UpViral is to get people to do these things. And if it's not obvious earlier on, then they're probably less likely to do those things. But again, it's up to you to decide what works best for your people. And split testing will tell you that. Steve says left titles, this is a different Steve. Left justified text is faster and easier to read. Normally only titles get centered. That's a very interesting point. It just depends. It depends upon the page. It depends upon what kind of device you're looking on, because again, if I'm looking at this on a smartphone, even though it's centered, it's a little bit more obvious, but I get the point. Very interesting point. I appreciate that. Again, you know, all of this is relative. Steve says my leads currently consist of family. So this is where you need to start getting in front of more people, which is a very, very long conversation about how to get in front of more people. What we're trying to do right now is to do some campaign reviews. So what I'm going to do, Steve, is we're going to jump on to the next one. I'm very impressed. The quality is good. I don't think there's anything glaringly wrong here. Just some tweaking. All right. So my friend Jira, is that right? Let me see my other screen. Where is it? His name is Jury. That's what it is. Jury submitted this. Excuse me, Jury. Sorry about that. Your home salon. Now, this is, by the way, I don't know if you guys know how to do this. There's a plugin, I've talked about it before, called Wappalizer. This is a Chrome plugin. You can actually get it on Safari too. I just discovered the other day. It shows you what tools are being used. It does not show UpViral, but it does show things like ClickFunnels or WordPress or tools like that. So it's rather interesting if you want to plug in and see what technology is being used. Now, here's one of my complaints. Again, your mileage will vary and you can do what you decide is best for you, but I really don't care for menus or logos at the top of the page unless it's absolutely required to identify your brand. Now, this is probably on your own domain, yourhomesalongiveaways.com, which is okay. My point is that this is distracting. What I want people to see is this. I don't want them, this is me, it's all about me. But to me, for a contest, this is immaterial. Nobody knows who you are yet. Nobody really cares about your phone number and your email address at this point. What they want to know is what you're offering. And some eyes will skip a menu or a title or this section. But why make it hard on people? Why don't you just start there? You want to identify who you are. You want to be able to build credibility. You can do that lower down on the page. As we talked about with Steve's campaign, we got to get people's attention right away. And if we're, in my book, this is Mitch's book, if we're spending time, precious real estate at the top of the page, identifying you, your business, and it doesn't add to the prize or to the sign up, hide it. Move it somewhere else. Put it somewhere else on the page. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Reduce wrinkles and love your skin. See, this is what I love, in that somebody knows to start with a pain point. Steve could potentially do this too, right? On his campaign, and I can't go back because we're on the, oh, I didn't look at the sharing message. Sorry, let me jump back really fast. Share on Facebook, because you guys know, if you were here last week, I spent an hour talking about this. I'm sorry, 2 hours. This image is critical, and I love Steve's image. Win $100 onboard credit. It's got a cruise ship. It's got shopping. It's got people in the picture. Bravo, Steve. Ring the bell. That's my cat, by the way. My now deceased cat. So that's good. Very good. Very good. Very good. All right. So what I started to say was, Steve, you could put the pain point on there. Don't have to. Reduce wrinkles and love your skin. Win a $500 skincare bundle. Revive your skin, look, feel young in 2 weeks. Introducing the ultimate skincare giveaway. This is all good stuff. I could nitpick a word or two, but it's short, it's succinct. I did it again. This is potentially the sharing image that you're using. This is good. Win a $500 skincare bundle. Free entry, no purchase necessary. Enter your details below and win. Enter your full name. Enter your phone number. Enter your email address. Now, I have no problem having a phone number on here. Yes, that's my phone number. Please don't call, because I don't answer calls from anybody. Keith said the social share page is ace. That was about Steve's image, I'm sure. Enter your details below our phone number. My opinion is that if you add a phone number and don't explain why it's there, you're going to cut down your replies by a whole bunch. This is not done by testing, other than I do know that marketing people will tell you every field you add to a form reduces your opt-ins by 2 to 3%. And I know that if I'm required to enter a phone number and you don't tell me why, I'm not going to put it in, and you're making me feel like I'm going to get spam phone calls on top of potentially spam emails for signing up. If you're going to just use it to text people about the campaign, to give status updates about the campaign, that's one thing. But if you're not telling me why you're going to use that, I may not sign up. Steve Thailand says, I like that cutout coupon look. I do too. It looks good. I wonder what it looks like on more of a smartphone thing, and it does still, the background image kind of goes away there, so that's good. I assume if I drag it even smaller, it will adjust the image. Because again, this is a ClickFunnels page. This is not an UpViral page. In this case, I do see that image is repeated. Kind of, sort of, they're slightly different. Now, so many people will sign up. I do love the fact that you say United States only. There's the ending date, which Steve buried, by the way, over in the terms and conditions, I think. I don't remember seeing it on the landing page. I do prefer to have that on the page. We will not hand out your information to anyone. Your privacy is safe with us. My preference, by the way, I've said this multiple times, and I've heard this said from other people that do split testing. This first sentence puts a negative thought in their head. Hey, Ed. You'd think I was born and raised in Florida. Hey, Ed. We will not hand out your information to anyone. That just simply throws up a red flag to people and says, I want to make sure you can, I gotta make sure you can see me. All right. Throws up a red flag and says, oh, maybe they're going to spam me. Please don't put negative phrases like that in there. Simply put, your privacy is safe with us. Oh, they're keeping me private. That's what I need to think about. This first sentence or anything like that just throws up a negative flag and will reduce your signups. And yes, people do read that. So if you want to reduce your opt-ins, keep throwing up negative statements like that. Steve Miller says, people like me enter bogus phone numbers. Huh, I never would have thought of that. Yeah, I do too. But if you told me that it was going to only be used for updates about this campaign and that I could opt out, I'm much more likely to put my real phone number because now I want updates about the campaign. Much more interested in that. Now, by the way, one of the tips that Gabe Schillinger used in his campaign that we talked about at great length on the campaign, on the Copilot show that he was on, he turned this into a custom action on the sharing page to get people to opt in to the texting and gave them points as opposed to putting it here and scaring people away. That's a great tip. Thank you, Gabe Schillinger, for that one. I'm not going to, well, I am going to scroll down here. So this is the prizes and identifying what the things are that are in the grand prize. And the second prize is a 10% multi-use discount code to use at checkout, valid for 1 year. This coupon cannot be bundled with other offers. This is awarded to the most social engaged entry. So this is the thing that I'm worried about. And I know that's probably kind of small. Let me grow it a little bigger so you can see it. And this isn't identified what the draw is. It most points or is it random draw? I don't think we know that from anything up at the top. But so I would identify the draw if it's random draw. And again, random draw and most points are very important for many people. I'm going to open my window again. But let's talk about the most social engaged entry. How are you going to decide what that is? How do you decide that? There's not anything inside of UpViral that's going to just quickly identify who the most social engaged person is. I'm not sure how you're going to identify that. And because UpViral doesn't track multiple clicks to the Facebook thing at this point in life, you know, somebody could share 10 times on Facebook once a day for 10 days, but UpViral is only going to track the first one. So you potentially could get into trouble if Betty Lou says, I clicked that button and I share it every day on Facebook. You don't know that. I'm just concerned about this most engaged social entry. Steve says, and H. Ziegler, good. I'm sorry. You know, I tend to go long. So sorry you had to leave. The replay will be available. Most social engaged. Steve said most points, question mark. I don't think that's most points because most points would include referrals. Unless you're not doing referrals, in which case your campaign shouldn't use UpViral. All right, so I'm going to jump ahead. I'm going to put in my information. I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to use my Gmail one. And we're going to move on. You know, I love doing these reviews, and I can spend days and days talking about this. I also charge for this, by the way. Reduce wrinkles, love your skin, win a 500. Didn't I just do that? Why am I here? Is this campaign not fully built? I don't know. Didn't I just do that? Huh. Something weird happened. Did you guys see what I did? What did I do wrong? Again, I don't care for this at the top. Congrats, you've entered the Ultimate Skincare giveaway. Good luck. I love this. I am very tired of campaigns that just start out telling me, here's how you get more points, without telling me, congratulations, you're registered. Check your inbox for your confirmation email. Before you go, would you like the opportunity to unlock extra points and rewards? Social sharing buttons, share your unique link. All right, good words, good words. Refer your friends, use that link. By the way, I want to know something. Speaking of things that I don't care for, I want to do a survey for those of you who are still here. And bless you for being here. Is it blatantly obvious to you and your people what to do with this link? Does this button scream out copy to you? Yes or no? Give me a yes if it does, no if it doesn't. I'm curious what everybody else thinks. All right, come on. I know there's a lag. I know there's a delay. Martin says yes. Larry says no. Paul says no. Steve says yes. So we're 50-50 right now. Carl says yes. Johan says yes, I recognize the icon. Steve says 50-50. Kiki says no. Copy. Yuli says copy yes, but what do I do with it? So we're about 50-50. I personally hate this. This is me. I liked in the old UpViral that this said the word copy. And I could edit that, and I could make it say other things than just copy. I could say copy and refer friends. I could say copy and share, because then it was right there and the instruction was right there. I don't care for this. I don't think it's big enough. I don't think it's obvious enough. And yes, we can explain right above it what to do with it, Yuli. But I really liked it the other way. Kiki says, I only recognize what to do because I use UpViral. I don't think it's as obvious as I would like it to be. This is my personal preference. I would like to be able to change it to a text thing. It does do that. If you click it, it does give you a checkbox like, okay, it's copied. But I personally think this user interface is a little too slick. Keith says no. The other thing to remember, by the way, is you can now reorder these. If you want to drag them around, you can, which is a cool feature. You can even split them up, which is another cool feature. And we're going to see that in a minute when I shut up and move on to the next one. Leaderboard. There's Mitch. So I have 5 points. The other thing is that the templates that we have right now do not really make it obvious that there is not a big button that shows the number of points. And there isn't anything on here unless I am looking at that right there to know how many points I have. You can put that in as text anywhere you want now, but it's not always in the templates by default. And therefore, I think it's important that you identify, maybe even up here at the top, that says, congrats, you've entered, you have 5 points, unlock more. 5 chances to win, unlock more, blah, blah, blah. Something like that. Because right now, it's not obvious, and on this page, there is no place to see that except right here. or potentially down here. So let me keep scrolling, but it's way too far down. Reduce wrinkles, use skincare. And so this jury is using the idea that Gabe Schillinger offers of doing a sales pitch at the end, which is okay if you want to do it. I'm torn. Sometimes I want to make sure that they're doing the sharing bits, not the buying bits. But if you want to make people buy, that's a great way to do it. I'm sorry, ask people to buy. So I'm scrolling endlessly here because I'm just trying to get an overview of what's going on. This to me feels a little big, and I know I made it bigger. I'm at 150% of the screen, so I know it's big. 10% discount code, 15%, 30%, those are all good. The question I also have, by the way, is that you're not identifying, jury, how many points I get for referring somebody. Share this opportunity with friends. How many points do I get for sharing with those people? So I could earn these points, and let's see, 20, 40, 60, 80, 120. So I could earn this very first discount by doing all of those buttons, which is okay. But then I have to start referring people. How many points do I need and when I get? Steve says copyright 2020 at the bottom. Yeah, a lot of people forget that. But how many points, how many people do I need to refer to get this? And the key there is, the question is, how hard is it going to be for me to refer others? If it takes me 5 people to get those 150 points, I'm not going to even try. Most people will not try to refer friends unless there's a massive reason to. Let me rephrase that. Most people won't try to refer lots of friends unless they get a big bonus. Is 15% good enough? I don't know. 400 points, I get this thing that's valued at $79. That's okay. Again, Larry says, congratulations, good job. You've been awarded 5 entries. See below how you can get more entries. I don't know where it said that. I could search for it. Are you saying that that's what should be added, Larry? I'll do a search. Find 5 entries. Not found entries. So those are, he's just suggesting. Okay. What I was, oops, good grief, I hit a button on my computer and did some more fun stuff. So Larry, what I would also say is, you've been, those are good words. Congratulations, good job. You've been awarded 5 entries. See below how you can get more. Right up at the top, the best you can do is to tell them the best way of referring people, or to get more points, more chances to win, is by referring people, and tell them how many points they get for referring people, which is not included in your suggestion. It's not a bad suggestion. Larry says, I'm a slow typer. That's okay. We're all good. I'm just suggesting that one of the best things you can do is tell people that how many points they can get for referring somebody, because that's where the gold is, in the referrals. All right, 10:24. We're an hour and 24 minutes in. Let me also show you this one. Now, this is done in an UpViral. Oh, wait, sorry. Let's back up. I always like to do the social sharing button, the Facebook one, to see what your social sharing image is. Enter today, win a free skincare bundle valued at $500. So this is a very good start. Very good start. You got the enter today, win a free skincare bundle, and you got the value. These are good bits. This image is a good bit. This discount is totally unusable because nobody knows why it's here. So these two could go away. You could whack that off. No purchase necessary. Info at blah, blah, blah. April 1st. This is potentially good information through 31 May. Don't miss out. I don't think that you need this in the image. You could theoretically put it down here, or you could ignore it. I don't know. The key is that we want people to click the button to get to the landing page. I'm sorry, Larry. I understand completely. Larry said, that's what I was getting to, but I typed so slowly that we were well past the point by the time I'm finished and pressed enter. I get it. I'll give you the bell, Larry. Congratulations. I appreciate you. Good try. And not to mention there's that lag, that delay from the live feed. So I totally get it. The key to this is a very good image. Do not get me wrong. I like all of the bits. Let me do this. I'll do it like I'm doing a screen grab. This bit right here is awesome. That's what I would include in my social sharing bits. I don't think you need these bits over here or the bits on the bottom to get people to click through, right? The goal here is to get people to click through. I don't necessarily think, I'm going to hit escape, that no purchase necessary. I think most people understand that. Your email address isn't helping on this social sharing image. The dates, I think you could just make it be this section above there and have a much better result. All right, so this campaign from Sastronautics. Sastronautics is I happen to know these people. There is a logo here. They are building their brand. I could do without the logo. It's up to you, but it's not too huge. It's not too big. It's not taking up that much space. It's not. I still think this is too much. Enter for a chance to win an M1 MacBook Air. Now, I like this. Again, it's this designed in the new UpViral editor. And we can see that based on this URL up here. And if you want, by the way, I'm going to throw... dang it. What did I do? Oh. I don't have it. Anyway, I'll give you the link in a minute if you want to sign up. But here's the button. I want to participate. There is a video here that's a minute long. Let's do this. I'm going to click on the link and it's going to open in a new window, and we're going to check to see how many views.
Hey, astronauts, what's up? It's Shannon here. Welcome.
It has 93 views. Now, I don't know how many people have registered in the campaign yet, but my suspicion, and I've told you this before, is that I don't think people watch these videos. And I would keep an eye on the view count as you're running your campaign to see whether or not you get a lot of people watching. I'm going to turn the volume off, and I'm going to do play. I don't think you guys can hear this, right? She's a very nice young lady. She explains the giveaway. It takes a minute. I'll just stop it. Doesn't matter. It takes a minute, and she doesn't, in my opinion, does not say a whole lot. It could be much shorter. I'm not big on videos on a landing page unless it's really important, because most people don't watch them. If you're doing a video sales letter, if you're selling something, that's a whole other story. My experience so far is that videos on landing pages for contests don't get watched. All right, so on this page, enter for your chance to win. This is a very simple thing. Who doesn't want a MacBook Air? Now, I could spend another hour conversing about the fact that I don't think this is the right prize for this campaign, but that's a whole other topic. I want to participate now. Sastronautics giveaway. Join now. Enter for your chance. I don't think that this, maybe it does. You can split test it. I don't know that putting the image adds any value. Sorry. I think my package just got delivered. I'm listening for the sound of the truck. My concern is that I would have to sign for it, but I did not hear a knock on the door. Anyway, so I don't know if that helps or hurts. You could split test that. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you before I go is that there are a whole bunch of prizes shown down here. I think this would be also something that you could split test to see whether or not people care about knowing what these codes are, or I'm sorry, what these prizes are, etc. The real question is, you should carry your package everywhere you go. Steve says. The real question is, unless you know what Sastronautics is, what does a 5% discount get me? Now, Sastronautics is a group that offers lifetime deals on software. And yes, everybody that is in getting those lifetime deals is probably somebody that's running a business that would need a MacBook Air. Is it the right price? I'm still not sure. But if you don't understand what Sastronautics is and you are referred to this campaign because you see the social sharing and you want to win the MacBook, this is not going to excite you in any way, shape, or form because you have no idea what this discount code is for, right? 5,000 points for joining the group, which is free. Best blog post. So there's different incentives, and that's all good. And then your key to successful winning. I don't think that was really my prize because I haven't heard his truck leave. my present to myself, my package. The campaign is open to everyone. These are good things. Completing actions, you will earn points. I don't know why you're saying that yet. By successfully referring others, you'll earn extra points. I don't know why you're saying that yet. The only reason for the landing page is to get people to sign up. And look, Chris, ring the bell for Chris. None of that stuff is needed until after you have their details. Don't swamp them on this page. Keep it simple. Way to go, Chris. All of this stuff in my book is useless unless you're explaining something like this campaign is open to everyone. That could be important. Leaderboard is calculated by points. Winner will be the highest per. Okay, that's useless on this page. Ace your strategy. Refer as many people. Again, all of this, bless your hearts. And the guy that runs this group, his name is June. Bless your heart, June. All of that's unnecessary. Every bit of it does nothing to add anybody joining your campaign. All right, so I'm going to click this and I'm going to join now. I think I already entered, didn't I? Oh, I did. I forgot what email I used. That's the problem. All right, we'll just use my Gmail one. Because I think I actually added the plus anyway. We'll just join it again and he'll be mad at me. Welcome, your total points. See, this is what I want. Pardon me. Your total points is 50 because most points is important in this campaign. Now, I did identify to him that this appears as a button and they haven't changed that. I don't know. I don't think it works as a button. Larry says, wouldn't it be funny if Mitch won the Mac? Absolutely. And now this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy that and post it in the comments if you want to win, or if you want me to win, because I'll just turn around and give it away. Give it away, girl. Now, the other thing that I wanted you to notice is the graphics are really good on this. I am not good at graphics, so I would not be able to design something that looks this good. I think this is good. This is modern. You young people love it, right? But notice what's going on here, if you will. Does anybody see what's going on here that is very different about this campaign than what you've ever seen before? If I go back over here and we look at the buttons, what do you see here? You see all the buttons grouped together. What do you see here? These buttons are split. There are instructions in between the buttons. Earn 670 points by joining Astronautics activities. You can get all of these points add up to 670. They've got this cute little graphic image to explain what these buttons are. Best blog post review gets $50 in cash. Write a review about Astronautics. They give you the button. They go tell you how to do it. Is anybody jumping up and down excited about this? We've never been able to split these buttons up before and give instructions and clearly identify how many points you can earn by doing these things. This is freaking cool. I am really, really excited about this. Here's the different prizes, incentives. I think they, pardon me, I think they need to make these a little bit easier to read because I can't read that. I'm sure you can't either. And obviously, if I were to shrink the page a little bit, these things are going to shrink, but they're all going to move around. And so if you're looking at it on a smartphone, notice how they just scroll and scroll and scroll. And then you get to the incentives. And there is no leaderboard here yet, which I think he should add a leaderboard because it would just, I think, be better in this campaign. And Larry says, this is cool. I think this is freaking cool. I've not seen anybody implement this as well as they have. So here's an interesting question. Steve says, cool, but if people look and they don't have all the social media platforms to share on, they might get dejected. Well, remember, that is a problem. That is not something you can solve. I have had people write me and say, it's not fair because I don't do Facebook and Twitter and all those kind of things. But that's why you give these other buttons with the custom actions. Join our Facebook community, okay. Join YouTube. Follow Instagram, like our Facebook page. So this is social stuff. Create an account on sastronautics.com. Purchase a product. Read this article and add a comment. Comment on this YouTube video. Join the giveaway live stream and submit the code, the secret code. Reply to our giveaway welcome email to get extra 50 points. These are all things that don't require you, Steve, to have social media. Not all of them, but most of them. Larry says, I have joined many platforms just to add the buttons and see what is there. I'm not totally sure what you mean by that. I joined many platforms just to add the buttons. Anyway, let's look at the Facebook sharing image. Enter for a chance to win a MacBook Air M1. Very clear. Does have a logo on it. Larry. I still don't understand the joined many platforms part of it. Anyway, I think this image is very good. There's a MacBook Air. Get a chance to win. Clear, distinct, not a whole lot of confusion. The planets don't add a whole lot, but that's part of their graphics, and it does merge well with the campaign graphics. The M1 MacBook Air giveaway, Sastronautics, join Sastronautics giveaway to win this MacBook Air. You could potentially put the value, although most people know what a MacBook Air value is, but that potentially could help. It's a very good image. It's not perfect, but darn good. Chris says, this is a very interesting point, Chris. And so, by the way, I am about to wrap this up. There are plenty of things that we have talked about. See, the other thing I was looking for, by the way, was the leaderboard to be able to see potentially how many people registered, to be able to see whether 93 views is a good number or not. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up really soon. Larry explained in a little bit more detail. Typing, bless your heart. Thank you for that. Larry said, I joined them to see what the platforms are about before I've added the buttons to my campaign page. And then I can also go to the platform to see how many people are sharing my links. There you go. Got it. Thank you. Kiki says, I'm sorry, not Jack. I'm not getting inspired, I guess is what you're saying. You may not be inspired by every campaign. That's okay. Different strokes for different folks, as they say. Right. All right. So we've reviewed 3 campaigns today. We've had a really good conversation about high-priced stuff or not high-priced stuff. I've got this really ugly webcam going on now. Thanks. And it's flipped, isn't it? That says UpViral backwards. Anyway, it's been really good being here today. You know I love doing this kind of stuff. I really appreciate y'all being here. I'm disappointed Deborah's not here. Deborah keeps track of all the links and stuff. I'm really surprised because nobody has said anything about, hey, is there a recording? I don't think I've seen that comment yet today. Isn't that shocking? I think it's shocking. Anyway, I don't know what next week's show is yet. There is the possibility, and I need to check. Right now, I am trying to get a guest, a good friend of mine, Christina, that is going to talk about potentially doubling your email open rate. That is her thing. One of the things we all struggle with after our campaign is over, or even during the campaign, is how to get people to open our emails. And we want more people to open our emails. And I'm pretty sure she's going to come on. I just don't know whether it's next week or the week after. We're trying to line up the shows, but I'm pretty sure that most of you would be very interested in that topic, because that's why we're using UpViral to generate our email list, right? Yuli says, UpViral is not flipped. Webinar Jam shows this flipped on your screen. Oh, thank goodness. Lord knows I wouldn't want to be flipped. Steve Thailand said, I have some work to do tomorrow. Thank you, Mitch, and other contributors. You're welcome. That's why we do this. Again, my joy is to help you build a better campaign. That's the entire reason I do that. I don't do it just because I like speaking. I do tend to get long-winded, though. Thanks for tuning in. If Deborah were here, she'd give you some links. I don't know where she is. I'm gonna have to fire that young lady. Just kidding. We will be back here next week with another Copilot show. Hope to have a guest for you soon. I did talk to William this morning, and he said he's got several guests coming that are building up viral campaigns that are doing really awesome stuff. So look forward to some new stuff coming in. Kiki says, this is a great show. Thank you. You're welcome. Keith said, thank you, Mitch. Useful as always. Chris says, weekly actions in your emails to add the code to a custom action. It works. Well, great. That's a great tip. Weekly actions in your emails to add the code in a custom action. So what he's talking about there is you send an email out to your people and say, look, I've just added a new button on the sharing page. The secret code is Mitch. Go type that in and get an extra 50 points or whatever. So I love that tip. It's a great tip. Always be adding things because that gives you an extra reason to send people an email and they go, oh, well, he's added something or she's added something to her campaign. Now I can get more chances to win. Oh, where'd it go? Chris said something, and I don't think I answered this. Chris said, I don't like the term enter for a chance to win. Why not just say win a ... I struggle with this one. Part of the reason why I struggle with it is that my wife's at fault. It's her fault. My wife and I talk about stuff, like this. The phrase enter to win is, I don't know, it's conservative. Some people, when they see a giveaway and you say the phrase win a Amazon gift card, I'm sorry, win an Amazon gift card, because you would never put a in there. Win an Amazon gift card, some people might interpret that as everybody gets one. And therefore, by saying enter for a chance to win, gives everybody the idea that there are fewer prizes than people who enter. And therefore, it's more of a contest. And it also potentially covers your fanny in case somebody were to try to sue you to say, well, you said everybody gets one and you're giving away a new car. I struggle with the fact that that's more words, but I also want to make sure that it's clear that not everybody gets something. So that's why I often say enter for a chance or enter to get a chance or whatever, Chris. Sorry if you left, by the way. Some people would be disappointed, Steve says. Martin says, always great insight found here. Osteen says, thanks, Mitch. Yuli says, thank you. And thank you to the sharers. This is a great show. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So, Chris, hopefully you stuck around for that. I'm sorry if you missed it. Sorry if I missed you earlier. Thanks for tuning in. We will catch you again next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel for another episode of the UpViral Copilot Show with no Copilot. We'll talk to you then. Oh, Chris is still here. I get that maybe on the social image I would use win a, but on the page before I had in, yes, I would add more words. That's a very good way of making sure, because you're right, on the social images, I do not say enter for a chance to, usually. I like the word win to be the biggest thing. So absolutely right on. Thanks, Paul. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We will catch you again next week, and Mitch will not mess up and hopefully do the thing where his ugly camera is not working. See you, bye.